The whole point of flying an airplane is to actually go somewhere, getting outside of the pattern and exploring. So that is what cross-country flying is all about. And during flight training, you put it all together, all that knowledge that you learned, all those maneuvers that you learned, and you actually go and fly somewhere. That is what this episode and the few episodes ahead are all about. It's about cross-country flying, where me as the instructor, I'm going to teach a student pilot how to do cross-country flying. We're going to put all these little aspects together, like weather, cross-country flight planning, managing the engine, talking to ATC, flying different altitudes, tracking yourself along the way, and many, many, many other things. And you just get to be a fly on the wall and experience that all. So let's go and let's fly with Sienna, and we're going to go do some cross-country flying for the next several episodes. But here is part 1. Welcome everyone, my name is Chris Palmer. I am a master flight instructor, a flight school owner, and an aviation educator. We're here in the hangar where all the magic happens, from making these videos to pulling this airplane out of the hangar and actually going flying. And that is what these next few episodes are about, and what a lot of my channel is about. If you haven't been here before, it's about teaching people to fly, you learning things from getting to see students that I teach, and just all those little lessons in between. So recently, Sienna did her first solo, which is her first solo flight in the pattern at the airport. Now, as we near the end of her training, the whole point of the training is to bring everything together, all the knowledge she has, all the maneuver knowledge she has, and bring her to a point where she can actually plan and fly somewhere really as far as she'd want to go, with fuel planning and everything else, but actually fly somewhere and do so with what we call cross-country flying. There is a lot that goes into this, from weather to pre-flight planning to navigation, ATC, all these different rules along the way, engine management, decision making, all sorts of stuff. It's what everything is about. Really, this is the culmination of all the knowledge you need to know as a pilot, is what cross-country flying is all about. Again, that's the whole reason we are pilots, is to actually go somewhere. So this is where things get really interesting. The inevitable goal is to have Sienna do solo cross-country flying, which of course, she went around the pattern, but have her take the airplane and go out by herself and do the flying. Now, this is only one part of several different videos where we're going to go through cross-country flying. So the mission for today, for this video, is to, the next 2 videos, is to go to Kenai, which is just over 50 miles away. 50 miles is the minimum distance for a cross-country flight to legally count in your logbook, where you track your cross-country time. So it legally counts as a cross-country, but it is a fairly minimal cross-country. It is still a cross-country nonetheless. We navigate somewhere, we go somewhere, we talk to ATC, air traffic control. So there's a lot involved in this process still. It's a nice first flight to do. This particular video is going to be the first flight going up there, right? And then the next video is going to be the flight coming down, coming back. So I want you guys to subscribe to the channel now, because you get to see that flight later if you do so. Also, if you have missed the previous videos with Sienna, we have documented that whole journey. It is a lot of training. So if you are in flight training, there's a lot there, from both the triumphs and the setbacks. So lots of good information. But now that we're bringing everything together in this cross-country flying, this is a really, really integral part of the training. So again, the idea, get her solo cross-country ready. But until then, I need to make sure she knows what to do, that I help instill that knowledge in her, bring everything together from, say, even the written test stuff that she had done, and practically apply it in the real world. So that's what these next several episodes are all about. So come jump on board, be a fly on the wall. We actually involve a little bit of lunch in this as well, because there is a restaurant at this airfield. Sienna's dad is actually flying in the back, although he's really good about staying quiet. And we get to go do some cross-country flight training. So here we go. This is a flight from Homer up to Kenai. Let's jump in the airplane and get after it.
Airport information, Echo, time 1748 Zulu, wind 100 at 5. The weather is better than 5005, temperature 12, dew point 6.
Your pre-takeoff checklist done? Yeah, that's what you're doing now. Okay. Alright, one thing we're going to do before we go is I go to this maps view where we did all our flight planning. I press this little icon here, send to panel, then you get this little message lit up. Hit preview, hey ho to PAEN. I don't know why this first one is always the second one, or it seems like it. Preview, and so there is our flight, right? That checks out. Hit activate.
Turning final, runway 4, Hummer.
So there we go. Now we have our route here, and you have your needles you can fly down here, which is real nice. So you can keep your course there, and also use this for situational awareness.
Homer Radio 2423 uniform, holding short at Bravo North with information Echo. Gonna be departing northwest to Kenai. Homer traffic 2423 uniform on the roll 4.
Okay, feet off the brakes.
Homer traffic 23 uniform, turning right, crosswind, runway 4.
Okay, watch your rudder. Good job looking for traffic. Seems like that's what you're doing. And I like to stay, I would do your turn just to stay within the airport area.
Right.
Put that back in.
There we go.
Put your car back in.
We're not landing.
That is funny.
It's so ingrained in my brain.
That is really funny. You can get that. I'm going to make a radio call that you're climbing in the downwind and departing to the west or the shoreline.
Homer traffic 2423 uniform, we're climbing in the downwind, departing in the west.
Along the shoreline. Oh, sure. Get that climb rate again. Check our temperatures here.
Yeah, I saw that we're at 900. I'm like, oh, I gotta stop it.
You see what she did?
Oh. I started landing.
She's so used to pattern work that she started to get into her configuration for landing. And you can head that way. Like, I would go right along the shoreline as we climb. I don't really start going over the hills until I know I have made it. By the time we get there, we're probably good. Navigate to your first waypoint. This to work with, you got that to work with. And even set a reminder here for your altitude if you want. That we're gonna fly, remember? What that was?
35.
Yep. This little, we don't talk about this a lot, but there's gonna be lots of new things today. This little bug here, which we may have discussed before, that's what your ground track is, and it's correcting for wind. So if you want to go to your waypoint, you put that thing on your arrow. Climbing, we're also looking at the temperature, so go ahead and touch this. Get all your cylinder head temperatures. This one is off, and it's about 100 degrees too hot. The sensor, but the actual cylinder is okay, just so you know on this airplane. But none of these should get over 400 degrees. So you just want to keep track of them. If they do get over 400 degrees, you have two options that you can use in combination. You can add a little bit more fuel to the mixture so you can enrich in the mixture a little bit, and you can nose over and get more air cooling the engine.
We're around 3,500.
Okay, alright, I want to see you hold your altitude really well. Keep navigating to our waypoint. We're going to level off as we normally do. This airplane can do a full power cruise, but it burns a lot of fuel. So unless you're in a big hurry, it's better to be nicer to the engine and get a little better fuel burn. So we'll pull it back eventually once you speed up here to about 3,400 or 2,400. You want to do that now while you're trimming. So let's be real good about, you can, at this, you can twist it in. And then here on your gallons per hour, I know that for 2400, about this altitude, it should be 8.5 gallons per hour-ish. Okay, so what's going to happen, I'm going to turn this on now. As long as I get my gallons per hour, where is it? I don't have it. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to twist this just ever so softly, and kind of watch it. It lags behind, so it's going to take a second for it to come down.
Homer radio, Cessna 889 for X-ray, about
I'll see what that
runway
does.
22, I've got
Okay.
Foxtrot.
Now you're going to watch these temperatures, and they're all going to start to get a little bit more even. And we can even pop up this window and watch that happen, keeping everything under 400.
Roger, thanks.
But everything's really happy there. You could probably even go a little bit more lean on the mixture, but looking pretty good. And just like for your peace of mind, you can go to this other page here, right here, and it tells you how much fuel you have. So an hour and 50 minutes at this current fuel burn. And if you look at our destination here, we have 31 minutes to get to our destination. So go back to this on map and see it there too. So remember your airspace stuff and how they're like, you have to be, has to be 3 nautical miles, 1,000 above, 500 below, 2,000 horizontal. So do you think we're going to have a problem with those little clouds up there once we turn?
Yeah.
Okay. So what would you do? What are some options you can
Could
think
like fly out over the ocean a little bit.
of? Yes.
Okay.
That's what I would do. You can head that way and just,
Okay.
yeah, go off shoreline a little bit more. Stay 2,000 feet from those, and we'll go like horizontally, and we'll go around them.
Okay.
Just a friendly reminder that a lot of the things we're learning in this cross-country flying video are things that I have taught in ground school. We have an online ground school here at Angle of Attack. It's really easy to go there and sign up and get the written test knowledge that you need and the knowledge that you need to do something like cross-country flying and so much more. So come jump on board at angleofattack.com. Check out our online ground school. We'd love to have you. And that's another place where you can learn a lot here from Angle of Attack. Let's get back to the flying.
As a student pilot, you're not allowed to fly above a cloud layer. That's it's like an actual regulation. Honestly, it's a good option to just go over the top, cruise at a slightly higher altitude. You could technically go below too. What I don't like about going below is not that big of a deal, but if you, again, just always thinking engine out and options, if you were to have an engine out, you don't have as much time to figure out where you're going to land. The beach is right there. I don't know. It's okay. Especially this beach is a nice beach.
For when you get stuck.
Except for when you get stuck. Should be plenty.
Okay.
So if you think of again the Homer Airport, the runway there is 6,000 feet long. Imagine dividing that in 3, and that's how a third of that is how far you need to be from the clouds. So it's really not much when you're in the air moving fast. Let's do that. You're not perfectly on your line, but we'll kind of get back over there, over the shoreline once we pass this cloud layer. Then this is the common traffic frequency 122.9. I'm going to show you an alternate method on the way back. You want to make regular position calls as you're going, just like we do around Homer. So in this case, we could do an anchor point radio call. We're 3,500 northbound on the shore. So go ahead and do that after they stop talking.
Is this still Homer traffic?
No, it's peninsula traffic.
Peninsula traffic.
Yep.
Peninsula traffic, 2423 uniform. We're at 3,500 feet northbound over the shore.
Anchor point. So say anchor point.
Anchor point.
If you didn't say that, you're northbound over the shore. It could be any shore all the way to Kenai, right? So. You're flying along.
3,300.
And really, even in your planning, know your options. All the airports that are around and what options you have. There's this little private strip down here called Lowell. It's right there. It's a neighborhood it's like a I don't know, what do you call it, an air park. So there's people that live there. It's all the way over there. It's kind of oriented this way. You can kind of see that. But the fact that you know it's there, you know there's a runway there. You got an Inilchik up here, okay. Cool. You got Kisilov Airport, so you got options.
If you were flying, would you go through the clouds or around or over?
I would go around. It's the rule. It's the law. So, if I was on an IFR flight plan and flying IFR, I am rated to do that, and I could. That's a different story. The two reasons they have the rule. The first reason is it takes discipline and practice to learn how to fly in the clouds, just to be able to trust your instruments up here. The senses that your body has on the ground, they lie to you when you're in an airplane, so you can get disoriented and get turned upside down and all sorts of scary stuff. So you need special training. It really doesn't take long to start to get used to it. The other part is, unless you're on an IFR flight plan, you're not being separated by air traffic control from other traffic. Those distances give us, it gives us time to react if we see an IFR plane coming out of the clouds. So we're VFR, they're IFR, they're allowed to fly through the clouds. If we saw someone coming out of there, we'd be able to avoid them in time, theoretically. All right, let's start to do some planning for Kenai. Kenai is a controlled airport, means they have a controlled tower. We look up here at the map, you see this blue circle around the airport, that's a Class Delta airspace. You see the top of it is 2,600 feet. So you could technically go over the top at 3,500, not even talk to them. I usually don't do that. I'll usually, even if I am not touching the airspace, I'll let them know I'm there anyway. Just because it's busy. So, just like Homer, just like any airport, we need to get our weather, right? And we have to have permission of some kind to go in to controlled airspace. And it's actually quite easy in this case, and even in the case of Anchorage, all we have to hear back when we call them up is our tail number. So when we make our initial call, they'll say, November 2423 uniform, fly a left downwind, runway 20 right. Or some other weird instruction. This is a very simple airspace. It's just a cylinder. Again, 2,500 feet tall, AGL, above ground level. And there's like one guy operating it. He's doing both the ground frequency and the tower frequency. But we're gonna basically talk to him. All right, you can get that little nugget there back on track on your point. Yep. So you'll kind of drag it over this way.
Oh, wait.
Now watch it.
What am I looking at?
So this little I call it the purple carrot. So see how you're turning
I'm
left?
the purple carrot?
That's our ground track. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yep.
Got it.
There you go.
For some reason I thought I was trying to line the arrow up with that.
Yeah, so the white is your
Okay.
heading. That's your heading, but the purple is correcting for our wind. So we have a 31 knot, 30 knot crosswind, and that's why you're heading into the wind,
Okay.
but we're actually heading that direction. So when we call them up, we're going to know our information just like we do Homer. So, you know, we got that down. And then he's usually just going to say our tail number right back. That instantly gives us permission to penetrate the airspace. Have permission otherwise, like you're not supposed to go in if you don't have permission. It's a big no-no. What would happen if you did that? Make honest mistakes. It's easy to take off out of Soldotna and get in their airspace. Look how close it is.
Yeah. If you were waiting for permission, would you just like fly around?
Yeah, you would fly around outside. If they said aircraft calling Kenai stand by, you would have to wait. Now, we're gonna call them here over the Kisilov. We'll have like 5 minutes warning. So we have time. Not a very busy well, it is busy, but it's not too busy to not handle traffic like that. At least most of the time.
Okay, as you guys know, so many of you have been super helpful with directly helping Sienna in her flight training, which is really cool. She's been very kind to let us follow along on our journey and allow us to show all the ins and outs of flight training, the good and the bad, and that can be a big thing for someone. So she's let us do that. You guys have been helping directly with super thanks here on YouTube. 100% of that I get goes to her. So thank you for doing that. If you guys do choose to do a super thanks again on this video, I track that and I basically deduct it from her flying bill. So, you know, it's just really helpful for her to get to do that. So, you know, feel free to give a super thanks, and all of that, 100% of that goes to Sienna. So thanks to all of you who have done that now and in the past and in the future. So let's get back to the flying.
We call them up, tell them what information we have, tell them where we're at, and then they get to tell us what to do. It's kind of new. They tell us what to do, so then we just follow those commands. Important for us to be aware of a new airport, how to taxi, where to taxi, following all the instructions. We have to repeat back that stuff. We have to repeat back our runway numbers, all that sort of thing, because of runway incursion. They're trying to keep people safe. So when he tells us land 20 right or do this for 20 right, we have to say that number back. I feel like I've taught you those habits already, but it's just extra critical when you're at a controlled airport like this. So then as soon as we land, we'll pull out the runway. We'll probably stop so I can teach a little bit, and they're gonna give us a taxi instruction, and then we'll like draw that on the map on where we're gonna taxi just to stay aware. It's definitely a little more complicated there. And that's pretty much it. Any questions?
That was a lot of information.
It is a lot of information. We'll have questions along the way.
Yeah.
And I'm here to keep us safe and everyone else safe, and be fine. It is a little bit different, is like planning our descent. So at 3,000, what I like to do is I like to just do a little bit of math, figure out pattern altitude. Let's just say in our case, since we're at sea level, we're going to subtract 1,000 feet from our current altitude. So that's how much we have to descend. And if we want to do that at 500 feet per minute, so we got 2,500 feet to lose. If we want to do that 500 feet per minute, it's going to take us 10 minutes. Does that make sense? Miss Calculus AP?
Yes.
Okay. You just divide your 500 feet per minute into that. Is it 5 minutes ahead of time?
It'd be
5.
five.
It's 5.
Yeah.
So basically you just times it by 2 and take away the 0. Right? So 2.5 minutes times 2 is 5 minutes ahead of time. And then we can see that somewhere down here. We start our descent 5 minutes ahead of time, 500 feet per minute. That should put us right into the pattern at a perfect time. So I noticed on takeoff out of Homer, your hand wasn't on the control.
Yeah.
It should always be on the control because we're always correcting for wind. Because it's pretty gusty down here, you're going to see why. We're going to always know where the wind's coming from. We're going to turn into the wind as we're taxiing. So it's kind of different. So once you start flying a bush plane or something, a tail wheel, you'll have, you need to be super aware of the wind all the time. Like, it's everything in a tail wheel. Alright, so this is the mouth of the seal-off. Why don't we make our radio call?
Okay. And what is this one?
Oh, Kenai Tower.
Okay. Kenai Tower, 2423 uniform. We're at 3,500.
Mouth of the Kasilof, landing Kenai.
Okay. Kenai Tower, 2423 uniform. We're at 3,500. Mouth of the Kasilof, landing in Kenai.
Here you go. Let's start down to avoid the clouds.
Cessna 2423 uniform, Kenai, enter left downwind runway 20 right.
Repeat it back to him.
Downwind, 20 right.
23 uniform, yep.
Okay. Entering left downwind, 20 right, 2423 uniform.
Perfect. So again, he tells us what to do. So now thinking of our position and where we're going, so looking back at this map, we're going to be coming from here, right? And then we're going to enter the left downwind and land 20 right. So, and monitor your descent. When we go from a higher altitude where we don't have as much air down to a lower altitude, we're going to need a little bit more mixture down here. Not a whole lot between 3,500 and sea level, but I just roll in a little mixture. And that is in your descent checklist, by the way. So why don't you bring that out just to like see?
Mixture rich in fuel both.
Okay.
RP as required. Weather. Altimeter.
Okay.
Instruments.
3005, we have that in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same as Homer.
Okay.
And then, do we need the carb heat yet?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, only when we're low power.
Okay.
Sometimes he'll ask you, or they will ask you, it's not always a he, but they'll ask you to report a downwind or like report entering something or report 3 miles out or something. So just keep that in mind.
Tower, Beaver 310 November Romeo.
He didn't say that this time, but.
This is 7 Tango Tango, left turnout crew, suggest at or below 1,000.
That's her. Okay, just us being aware, even though it's a towered airport. Man, is she flying a lawnmower? Did you hear that?
2-3 uniform, suggested downwind at 1,500. Traffic will be crossing in front of you. A Cessna for Soldatnet 1,000.
Go ahead and acknowledge.
What did I say?
Just say, okay, staying at 1500, 2-3 uniform.
Okay, staying at 1500, 2-3 uniform.
Number 2-3 uniform, traffic's a Cessna, going to be crossing in front of you for Soldatnet 1,000.
Okay, so he's pointing out traffic to us. So we level 1500, we'll look for traffic. If you see him, then you can tell him you see him.
Morning, helicopter 87 Golf Fox.
Helicopter 87 Golf Fox, right, Cantor.
Yes, sir. Hey, just heading over to Twin City Raceway for a reposition with Echo.
Keep your altitude. She's.
Helicopter 87 Golf Fox, departure bait, you're on risk. Suggest at or below 1,000 for now. I've got traffic joining a downwind at 1,500. Traffic 2 southeast at 1,000 going to Soldatna.
Okay, I have one in
Let him know you have traffic in sight. Traffic in sight, 2-3 uniform.
Below 1,000. I have both in sight, actually.
Traffic in sight, 2-3 uniform.
We'll stop them.
Oh,
They
step
have
up.
visual. 87 Golf Fox.
Oh yeah, they're there. You can say it again, I don't think he heard you.
Traffic in sight, 2-3 uniform.
2-3 uniform, roger. And traffic's a helicopter just lifted off eastbound. They'll be below 1,000 feet as well. And they have you in sight.
Got them too.
Traffic in sight, 2-3 uniform.
We're 2-3 uniform, roger. Runway 20 right, clear to land.
And say it back, clear to land, 20.
Clear to land, 2-3 uniform. 20 right.
Good job catching your runway. Now set up for normal pattern. Let's fly the pattern.
6162, can't go.
Remember, aviate, navigate, communicate. Fly the plane, we're going a little fast. So we're almost at 1,000 feet. Let's think about slowing down. So this approach is going to be, it's just windy. And it's going to feel like we're flying slower or really not. Like the airplane's still cutting through the air at whatever. So we're probably going to fly it at about 80 instead. And 1 notch of flaps, okay?
Okay.
So you can enter your first notch. So it's kind of crazy. He's already cleared you to land. You don't have to say anything else. You don't have to make all those radio calls. In a way, it makes it more simple. Just watch your altitude. You dip below that.
Frequency change proof.
87 Golf Fox, roger. And we're landing assured.
Roger.
Okay, you can turn base. And reduce power a little bit. Have your hand on the power now. And watch your speed too. Everything nice and coordinated. It can look really weird when it's windy.
Here 0 November Romeo, I have you in sight, no report required. I do have traffic on final 20 right, but they're a full stop.
Okay, we'll be paying attention to November Romeo.
Okay, good. And just be deliberate with the controls, okay? Tell the airplane what you want it to do. There you go, not too steep. There you go, that's good. Alright, we're lining up now.
Should I be power idle now?
Oh. Just fly it down, yep. I would do a touch less power, a little fast. We got a little crosswind, do you feel that?
Yeah.
We're going to have to think about that with our rudder when we get down. Just keep it coming down. And then just now, it's like normal. Just start landing normal. Power out. Your nose up, little left rudder. Little right aileron. Good. Good job. Hey, and then turn this into the wind just a little bit more. And and we're good. Good job.
Number 23 uniform, continue down the Echo and say request.
Down the Echo, 23 uniform will be going to transient.
Number 23 uniform, taxi via Echo Juliet, monitor ground.
Echo Juliet, monitor ground, 23 uniform. All right, go ahead and keep rolling out. So that's a lot for you to get right on the runway, but I like to write this down. Echo Juliet, so I know which taxiways I'm on. So he tells you the taxiways to land on, or to take, right? Well, was that fun in any sort of weird way?
That was crazy and slightly overwhelming.
We're gonna do it more.
Yeah.
I think we'll come back together again and do it all, and it's really not bad. Like,
I'd say just getting used to the radio call stuff.
yeah, and you did a good job. It's just like remembering you got to repeat back instructions, and really be on your game, you know. So that red Cessna right there, the one on the outside, I think we'll park right next to it. You see the feet. And awesome, you do it this.
Can I park a plane? Let's see.
Right in the middle. Let's do this. Come on. A little bit more to the right, I think. I don't know. Figured out. I think you're too far left. I don't know. I don't see my line over here. Hey, and go forward so that line is like right underneath our tie downs.
Got it.
Or our wing struts. I don't know. Whatever. We'll just do it outside.
Okay.
Well, at least the part you screwed up was the parking part, not any of the flying part. Okay, cool. Let's shut her down.
Okay, that is it for this episode. Hope you guys learned a handful of things. Of course, different flying in the Class D airspace, but there's so many little things in between. Of course, we didn't touch on everything. There is one thing I want to ask you guys. I've been thinking about doing like a subscription of some kind for just a few dollars where we would show actually the totality of flights like this. And I want to just gauge your thoughts and feelings on whether that would be valuable, if that's something you would sign up for. So in the comments, let me know if that is something you would sign up for, where before we release the edited version, we actually give you guys just the full straight on version, everything in between, nothing cut out, if you feel like that would be valuable for you. So let me know in the comments. Also, let me know if you have any questions about the cross-country flying, if there's anything you would have added or said during this flight. And don't remember that we will be flying the flight back in the next episode, so make sure you're subscribed. Also, of course, please like the video and so on and so forth, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss a thing in the future. Really appreciate you guys being here. Looking forward to showing you more. I can tell you there's some good things coming down the road here at Angle of Attack with Sienna's training and with other things, so I hope you guys stick around and continue to enjoy. So fly safe, and until next time, throttle on.